Nearly 2,500 garlic cloves to plant this year. We've run out of room in the garden, so we've had to move out into the field. They're going into the same plot as the potatoes we harvested recently, so the ground isn't too bad, but it's not great either. Stony and hard. So yet again we're experimenting, hoping we can grow a saleable crop for next year. In the meantime, we have to get them into the ground. Sandra and Henry harrowed the field. This is the Dibber drum I just finished making.
Lovely.
It's pulled along to mark the holes. It should leave 6-inch square grid of holes, which is what we need for the garlic. The blocks are to make it heavier so it sinks in better. Unfortunately, the holes weren't big enough to plant straight into, at least on this first run. Partly because it was near the edge and the soil just wasn't turned over well enough, and some of the garlic cloves were huge. So with Bridget and Leah's help, we had to deepen some of the holes in order to plant them. Ideally, the ground should be much softer and finer for this to work well, and it doesn't help when someone with big feet keeps walking all over it. We learned from the first script though, and before we did any more, we harrowed again, but this time with the deeper harrow. This is the springtime harrow, and it gets down deeper into the soil. And this made a big difference, and the planting went much quicker because the holes were better defined. Still not perfect, but without a rotavator and better soil, I suspect this is the best we can do. The soil is better here, farther from the edge. And we've been feeding this field for years with farmyard manure, but it was wet and claggy clay when we started, so there's still a long way for it to go. In previous years, we spent a long time running backwards and forwards with strings to get the lines straight and the spacings correct. This contraption eliminated all that in one go, so it was worth making, and of course it should be ready to go still in years to come. We're mulching with sand and with straw. The problem is that there's a long barn in between the field and the delivery of sand. Luckily, we have a little railway down the length of the barn, which turns out to be very handy sometimes, and quite fun. The sand is a mulch, and it improved the soil structure, and it's a mineral source too. Shame it weighs so much.
Works. Whee! They're heavy enough, aren't they? I'll go in first.
We soon got tired of lugging the heavy fish boxes around and set up the monorail instead. This is Chris's baby really. He came around to make sure that I'd set it up properly.
Staples.
Well, I suppose you're going to leave it here for the...
The beauty of this type of railway is that it's so easy to move around. The pieces just slot together. It saved a huge amount of work, and it's fun too.
Another one would do you. Didn't need it on that one.
Okay, off you go. Oop. made awkward because we can't stand on any bulbs. There's plenty of room for improvement. A better way of transferring loads from one railway to the other, for instance. But it did basically work. And we didn't film the rest of the planting because it was really wet. But with the help of Christine, we did get all 2,400 cloves planted and covered over with sand, about 3 tons of sand in total. And then we topped them all up with straw. I'm expecting the wind will blow this all about, but we'll see. We'll also be fencing this plot against rabbits and stray sheep and the odd donkey. And if all goes well, we'll have a crop of fine elephant garlic for sale next year. If anyone's interested, we'll post an update if and when they come up.